Why, hello, all of you wonderful lost souls looking for a new reality. This is Jeremy Jordan, the head auditor. Just wanted to answer some questions with another little walkthrough video, I guess, as a lot of people are asking and wanting to know what to expect. We are still trying to go through bugs on this, so it's not quite ready for release. We're going to do release probably like 50 a day if we do even that many. And it's just because we want the second set of people to have the bugs fixed that the first set of people found. So we're doing it just a little, not just a tiny amount, but a group at a time, group at a time, group at a time. That's why we're not running adventures for the better part of a week, just so that people could get, not only could people learn the character creator and play around with the character creator before we actually play, but so that we could track down all the bugs that 20 people or 30 people couldn't find. We're hoping that 300 or 500 people can find bugs. So this way, going forward, this is in good shape. Okay, and that's assuming that Google Sheets holds up on this because there's a lot of math going on. All right, so this is a character generator. I'm going to make myself a little character and show you guys how it's done. Let's start with a name. My standard name, you can always tell if you see it, is Testy McTest. So it's not Bodie McBoatface. I had Testy McTest first. Plus, face and all that. All right, I'm going to click that. All right, welcome to the Land Testy. Now, choose what race. I'm going to go with maybe a River Elf. We'll go with a Sand Elf. No one's chosen a lot of... I don't see a lot of Sand Elves. There are 4 variations of every race, except for, of course, Human and Beastling. We have the mathematics for mixed race. They're just not in yet because they're complicated. It's its own process. So we will add mixed race in at some point. For now, you do this. If you played Playtest 3, you know that you have the option of changing race. We'll have other chances to do that for those people who didn't get chance to play Playtest 3, but we just wanted to let you know that there will be expansion races and you'll be able to change your character down the road. Okay, so a Sand Elf with a Chaos Seed, as a Sand Elf with a Chaos Seed, they start with 5 points of my initial attributes. Automatically, one of them is going to Dexterity, one of them is going to Endurance. This is a choice we made for balance because non-humans get all types of fun little abilities. So as any form of non-human, at least what we have in there right now, 2 of your points are pre-assigned. You get to spend 3. For a human, you get 6 points to put wherever you want. I'll go Archer because that just seems obvious. So I'm going to do 1 in Agility, 1 in Dexterity, 1 in Luck because I like the little bonus it gives. It does give you a +1 to hit when you have 1 point in Luck. That's just because it rounds up. So if you have an 11 in Luck, you get an extra attack point basically. All right, now must determine what I will be at the start of my journey. I automatically get Survival and Desert Conditioning because they're from the desert. Desert Conditioning is an uncommon skill that is a sub-skill of Survival, if you're not sure. Let's form you out of Chaos. What other 6 common skills will you form with? So, the deal is when you choose one of these, it will actually give you proficiency in it automatically. It'll give you a rank in it and 100% affinity. All of these are common skills. A common skill, everyone starts out with 50% affinity to a common skill. Now, affinity is a level cap basically on your ability. So, at first level, you can only put 1 point in something, 1 rank in something. At 100% affinity, you could actually go up to rank 5, which I think is like 15 points. I guess we'll explain that when we get there. But I'm going to go with light armor. I'm going to use... we'll go with a sword. And then I'm going to be silly and go with a second sword. Now, I say I'm going to be silly because there's actually quite the dual wielding penalty at first level, and that's -50 on the primary, on the offhand, and -25 on the primary. However, if you notice, it's only going to remove 4 of mine, or 2 of mine. I still have 4 available here because it's not double charging me for the sword. If I was to make this sword and shield, for example, it would knock me down to 3 because that is a different proficiency or affinity, a different affinity than the shield. Also, I could choose a sword two-handed, and I'll show you what that does. Oh, well, let me start with going with no item, and you could see on my character sheet here, I have a simple longsword, +16 versus armor, because elves get a bonus with swords. I forgot about that. I think so anyway. However, if I go to a two-handed sword, it should upgrade that to a simple greatsword, +17. And if I go to a unarmed strike, well, you get what I'm saying. It'll keep, what are you calling it? A simple two-handed sword still does not cost an extra point because it's still a sword. It's just a different sword. Um, yeah, we'll stay with that. We'll stay with a big sword. And of course, I'm an elf, so I'm going with a bow because bows are awesome. All right. 3 additional skills. Now, some of these say crafting. It's not to say you have to craft with them, but that means that there are recipes available. So we want to specify that. Those of you who have used or played the playtest know that there's multiple uses for fishing. There's multiple uses for cooking. I've seen construction used in a couple of ways I wouldn't have expected. But we do have a list of skills that are here. Dual casting. Again, you have a chance of casting the spell. You make a concentration check. Double the mana, hit or miss, and then if it goes off, it does double damage. Dual wielding. Every rank you go up in this, the penalty goes down for two wielding weapons. So it is hard to wield 2 weapons at once. In early ranks, as soon as you can level it up, it becomes much easier. Melee focus. This actually increases your damage and your attack roll when you're using a single melee weapon with no shield. So if you use it one-handed, you use it two-handed, it doesn't matter. Melee focus will actually increase. Let's see here. Actually, I want to know if that's right or not. So let's see. Oh yeah, it's up to 17 now instead of 16. So it gives you +1 to hit, and I think this every 3 points of melee focus increases your damage because we don't want people having ridiculous damage on their weapons. So that goes up a little slower. Coincidentally, you saw I put a mark in this. Any mark will do. So let's say I wanted conversation. I'd just put an A in there. And then I'd go down to my character sheet, and you would see under conversation, it's 1 rank, 100% affinity, 1 point spent. Because I used it as one of my starting skills. Now this is the only place where it does that. Once you pass starting skills, you don't get automatic affinity for putting a point in something. But hey, whatever. Today we're going to do that, and I think I'm going to do stealth, because why not? I'm a super sword ninja talking elf. Anyway, so that's common skills, right? And like I said, if I want to get rid of a bow, I could loot another one of these. I think I'm okay with what I have. Another thing, just like it filled in a weapon, I chose light armor. So look at my character sheet. It actually gave me light legs and light body and light legs armor. If you choose medium, choose heavy, it'll fill in medium and heavy, and it does the math automatically for you. Okay, so common skills are done. Now, magic is not an uncommon skill, but you have the choice of either 2 uncommon skills or 1 magic and 1 uncommon skill. You can't take 2 types of magic. When we were doing playtests, we found every single time that characters with magic were much better, especially as they leveled, than characters without magic. So choose one of the basic skills, schools, I should say. If you have one of the certificates for chaos magic or whatever, this is not where you choose that. You get that in addition to this. I'll be my sand, right? I think, and that's a power game because I'm a power gamer by default. That there you go. They get air and fire spellcasting efficiency. Efficiency means that for every 25% efficiency, you get +1 damage on your spells. It's not huge and game breaking, and it doesn't scale. But hey, I do +1 damage when I attack with an air spell. I do +1 damage when I attack with a fire spell, assuming it does damage. So I'm going to be a fire elf. Why not? And then it'll actually let me choose which spells I want. So I'm going to do summon magma. I like magma. And I'm going to do weak flaming weapon so I can make a flaming greatsword. I'm actually curious what summon weak magma does. So I'm going to go over here and down here on the bottom, spell descriptions. Summon weak magma, 1 combat action versus dodge, and it actually has it up here, 13 versus dodge. All targets 10-foot square. So what this means is it's a 10-foot square. It's a 2x2, and one of those corners has to be within 25 squares of you. I'm sorry, 25 feet of you. So it's not like 25 feet wide or whatever. It just means that you could hit a 2x2 area within 5 squares of you. One of the corners has to be within 5 squares of you. Okay, so that spells. I get one more uncommon skill as well. Some of these uncommon skills require a skill to learn it. For example, Combat Medic. We had some checks and balances on the end where it would tell you you couldn't take it, but they just didn't work out properly. So don't be a silly person and take Combat Medic even though you don't have healing. Oh look, it worked. You do not qualify. Not all of them work for that for some reason. So if you don't see that, it's okay. However, I did take, what do I have? I started out with, first thing is, I forgot what skills I started out with. Survival, desert conditioning, conversation, melee focus. Yeah, melee focus, and I don't need survival because I have survival. Oh, look, it even said you already know this skill. Oh, I'm sorry, it was stealth. Wow, wow. All right, so underground survival. We don't take tracking, and I'll make myself a super useless character except for specific things. Now, tracking's kind of boring. A lot of people are not tracking. I'm gonna go with alchemy, so I can make things out of sand. I don't know. I got nothing. All right, 0 uncommon skills. Age, we'll go 106 years. It's about good for enough. Oops, 06. Height, you cannot use a apostrophe in height because it will break Roll20, it turns out. So my height is, we'll go with 5'12". That doesn't sound right. 5'6". Sure, I'll be a little shorter. Weight, 106 pounds. He's a thin elf. Yada yada. Hair, chestnut. I don't know why it's chestnut, not brown. He's just special like that. We'll make him hazel eyes. We'll make him like a fancy elf. And gender, I'm going to go male. You can write whatever you want. We didn't do the drop down because, we're friendly to everyone. Write my name here, Jeremy. All right. So, one last thing. If you have a code, I'm not really revealing any secret codes, you put it in here. If you went to MissFest or you earn another code, starting code, let me know. I will put it here. I will give it to you so you can put it in here. If you didn't go to MissFest or earn a starting code, and we're going to have some things to give some away shortly. Here is the, what do you call it? Here is the list of different things you could take. So I'm going to be archer, I think. What do you call it's kind of good though. I'll go with swords. What are the swords ones? Swords. Swordsmanship root. Your affinity with swords increases 100%. I don't need that because I have 100. Your damage increases by 0.1 per rank in swords. That's like almost double normal damage. That is a lot. What was the other one? Swordsmanship prodigy. Same thing, 100%. +5 to accuracy checks when making swordsmanship attacks, which is ridiculous because that means my sword would go up to. It's broken because it's swords and not swordsmanship. Oh, that's aggravating. And that is precisely why I need you guys to check these out because there are hundreds of things here. And I need that fixed. But I'm going to show you guys something that's ridiculous. I'm going to go and create another one of these. I'm going to move it off the side secretive, right? Data. And this is why one of the reasons that we're very excited about the way this is set up. So I can go into traits. I can go into, let's see, SWR. There we go. Is it swords or swordsmanship, this skill? I wonder. Let's see here. Is it swords? Did it fix it? It did not. Oh, it did. Look at that. How cool is that? That I could go in to a data file that is not on this character sheet, and I could change one thing, and it fixes it for everyone. And not everything does that, but certainly we decided to pull the data out of this file and put it into another centralized file. And it's awesome because if we find a typo or an error, we could fix it real time. So I'm glad that happened, so I can show it to you. Okay, so I know the following languages: Common, Elven. You may not select others. This is going to be an empty thing. If you have certain abilities, Certain of these give you extra languages. Certain races get an extra language to start. Beastling, for example, I think you could do the drop down. You'll actually see some options here. This is the Roll20 export data. I went over that in another video, how to use that. We're going to help you guys export. But that's it. That is, you have created your level and character. Here's the sheet if you want to print it out and bring it to an actual game. If you're playing it on Roll20, like I said, there's the export. But it lists all of your stuff here. So there is some limited selection, but there is, what do you call it? Now, the leveling up part of that. All right, so here are your spells, right? I put in a couple of real adventures. So let's say the first adventure I played Playtest 01. 01. All right, it's going to sum that all up. All right, very good. Learn no skills. Playtest 02, because it's playtest. Learn no skills, but got some awesome stuff out of it, right? Now, I got to play the very awesome adventure, and don't try this because he'll be removed when this is done. Fake 01. And bam, a demo game. All right. So this one gives 8 experience, gives 8 gold pieces, woo, and 10 days of personal time. It didn't have any truth. That's why there's, what do you call it? There's no truths in there. Actually, I wonder if that's going to be an issue for elsewhere. But I didn't, well, you know, here, hold on. I can go into, let's see, what is a truth that we learned in Fake 01? Let's see here. Oh, I know why. It's because it's not in here. So, Fake 01. Now, that should fix right away. But I will say, demo game live. And I type that into the centralized database, and look at that. Amazing, huh? So I could change things. You could be like, oh, this adventure got this. Nope, sorry, retroed. I gained the spell book, Glitter Dust. I'm not an air mage. I may have to go back and change myself to become an air mage because I forgot I was going to do an air mage. Hey, look, I'm no longer a fire mage, and you shouldn't be doing this after you start playing, but I am an air mage. It's going to say, hey, those spells aren't air mage spells. Weak honed air. Weak haste. All right, works for me. The fire spells were so much cooler. But more importantly, Glitter Dust. All right. So, Spellbook Glitter Dust. First thing is, I earned 15 skill points. So, here's how that's going to work. I'm going to go to my level up tab. First thing is that made me level 2, so that gives me 3 available points. So I'm going to increase my agility, my dexterity, and my intelligence. And I get enough 25% affinity in any skill that's not already, what do you call it, that I can learn. So I'm going to increase my affinity in healing, and I'm going to take healing this round. All right, so healing. That should, I haven't tested this in a long while, make my healing affinity up, 75%. All right, now if I go down here, healing, it should tell me, yes, I have no points in it. I can spend upwards of 15 points. I wouldn't do that. That would be a lot. But if I go to, if I go to checkpoints, I type in healing, and I want to spend 5 of my 15 points in it. All right. I just realized it doesn't actually tell you how many it is there, but you know you have 15, so do the math. If I go back here under healing, I am now rank 3 with 5 points spent. There you go. And my bonus went up to 13. So let's say I also want to work on stealth and, oh, duh, of course, my attacks. So stealth. I think it's swordsmanship, right? It is. And light armor. Because in that adventure, I used all 4 of those. You're supposed to use them in the adventure to get them to work, right? So this just tells me what I have, what my limits are, that sort of thing. So then I go back to checkpoints, and I want to increase my stealth by 3 points. I want to increase my light armor by, we'll go with 3 points as well. I'm going to increase my, as that's 11, my air magic by 2 points. 5, 8, 11, 13, and my swordsmanship by 2 points. There you go, it's my 15 points. I might add something to count points, but really you should be able to count it. Also, by limit of this, you can only add 9 skills per adventure. It was just too complicated. Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to put a skill in there, buddy. Calm down. Personal adventure notes, you can write whatever you want in. Used glitter books. Glitter dust book. And why do I say that? Because I'm going to go over to treasure. It lists all the items, but I'm going to go to spell book. Oh, you know what? Spell book glitter dust isn't in the database yet. Okay, guess what I can do? Hold on. Items. I totally forgot. I have the ability to do this right now. So I just added that in for the demo here. So is that gotta get the exact spelling right. So checkpoints. Spellbook : glitter dust. So I'm gonna put that in here. I believe that a first level spell was 2 gold, and I'm gonna call it weight 0.5. Wait, which one was gold? Which one was? Weight is the first one. My bad. So weight 0.5. Value is 2 gold. Now if I go back to treasure, I can spell book. Oh no, I screwed up somewhere because now it's saying we don't like that at all, right? Oh, I forgot to put up. Oh man, all types of little things. I try to do it. I forgot to say that this adventure only has 1 spellbook glitter dust. So hold on, watch this. Maybe any second now. No, doesn't want to tell me how many I have. There we go. Magic. It's almost like there's a formula I used. All right, so I'm going to use 1 spellbook glitter dust, which is going to remove it from my thing. However, I'm going to walk over to my spellbook. I'm going to write in spell. It has to put in spell : before any spell or spell book. It's how the system recognizes it. Now let's see if this does this properly. And it says that, hey, spell glitter dust, there 1. Awesome. Additionally, it's going to add glitter dust to my. It won't add it to the character sheet, I don't think. Yeah, no, you have to write it in yourself. You could actually write it in under level up. So I can go to alternate attack 2 somewhere. Ranged hands. Do I not have something for it? I guess I thought I had a thing for it. I guess I do not. All right, so we may have to put that in. Alternate attack 2 and 3. Oh, right here. Duh. Spell. Glitter dust. And now it should show up on my character sheet. All right, very good. Additionally, it will appear in my little export data. It'll be under attack tab, and for that matter, under spell tab. So it all is all tied together. All right. Is there anything else I need to do when I leveled? Let's see. I got the spell in here. Level up. Let's see. I got my skills that I want to work on in here. Oh, hey, I gained again my lesser Quarant. I'm just so happy I know how to spell that. My lesser quarantine mask. That should be on my character sheet now, right? Lesser quarantine mask. There you go. 3 armor, type light. I still didn't add notes for it. That's okay. And I think, I could be wrong, one of these gave me... No, apparently not one of these. One of these, I think it's Mist 01. For people who are at Mistfest, gives a Ring of Health 10. So I'm going to go over to level up. And by the way, if you're not Mistfest, don't write that in. We have tracking abilities on these characters. The other great thing about them being on the network is not only can you pull data from our central database, we can see who's pulling data from our central database. So don't get all sneaky on us. Ring of Health. It will not add it on automatically, and you don't have to mark it as used because you're just, temporarily putting it on. But that should have increased my health by 10. As I'm now up to 100, it did not. So we may have to figure that out as to why. That might be an error. So, see, and this is what I'm talking about with problem fix. This one, however, this is a local problem. So I'll have to see what's going on with that. I think it's still looking for parentheses. Let's see. Just out of curiosity. Nope, still didn't fix it. All right, I'll have to find out what's going on with that. That should have been working. Okay. Have any additional magic items? You list them here. Some of them it will pick up automatically. Actually, let me just see real quick if of health is recognized at the moment. Oh, hold on. I think I know why. Let's see. I'm just curious if I just fixed it. We'll find out. Class or profession, you have to write in yourself if you have anything for it. Allegiance is where you're going to claim your allegiance to down the road. If you have a death, put it in here. Hopefully you don't. Chaos points here. If you have a specialty code, like for example, if you earn something, there's a few of them that are out there. That's where you put it in. It's not a starting code. That's a trait or ability, not a starting trait though. Did it? It still didn't. All right, so I got to fix the health thing. Anyway, I think that's what I have to show you guys. I don't think there's anything else on here. The last thing is journal. We haven't really used this yet, but if you wanted to use the journal, simply put, you put in the crafting skill used, fletching. You know, the date. It adds the item to your. In theory, anyway. Let's find out. It should add the item to your treasure. Ring of health, slender gloves, calcium, strong notch fiber. I have gloves apparently. It does not, so I'll have to see what's going on with that. Because it should have added that to there. We haven't really played with this one yet. This is the last one we're working on. But it should tell you what you have and haven't, and anything you write in here. So let's say I needed, what do I have in treasure? A forest sage, or an ivory claw. I-V-O-R-Y, claw. It should automatically remove that from your inventory. It has not. Alright, so this might actually have to get worked on before this gets released. Or I suppose you could just write an ivory claw here and use it, and that would work fine too. You guys see the awesomeness that this has become, and you will have a lot of options with it at start. Like I said, the reason it's not out is because there's still some bugs, obviously. That Ring of Health was working. I gotta find out why it's not now. But there is a lot here, a lot going on. Long video, half hour. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to, I'm supposed to say subscribe and like. I'm not doing enough of that. So make sure you like the video so they get some popularity on them. And thanks for playing the LAN.